We put Formula One tyres on a $2,000 Toyota, and this is how we did it. Lovely. Why an MR2? Well, from our very extensive research, we realised that it ticked all of the boxes. It's a normal road car, it's mid-engined and rear-wheel drive with a limited slip diff for the skids. And more importantly, the brakes were small enough for the F1 wheels to fit over them.
We initially looked at MX-5s, but because the F1 wheels we used were 13-inch rather than the current 19s, we needed something with even smaller brakes. So after some quick maths and a search on Facebook Marketplace, we bought this MR2 for £1,500.
The young guy we bought it from couldn't afford the ridiculous insurance prices, which was actually double the cost of the car, but we assured him it was in safe hands. Before we even touched the car, we needed to have some adapters made so the wheels would actually fit. This MR2 has a 4-stud pattern, whereas Formula One cars use a centrelock. So we had these machined from a solid piece of steel.
You might have noticed that the adapters look very similar to a normal wheel spacer. They bolt to the hub and then the wheel will bolt to the adapter. With the extra 34mm added each side, we knew the wheel bearings were going to take a beating because of the extra leverage, but it didn't need to be doing hundreds of thousands of miles. We got the car up on the lift to test the adapters, and thankfully they were absolutely spot on.
There we go.
Lovely. And if you look at those extra holes on the adapter, we didn't just go mad with the drill, it's because we had to fit them on a different stud pattern on the Caterham.
Whilst the car was up in the air, we had a quick look over the MR2 before noticing that the flywheel was literally on show.
Richard, have you seen this? Look at this.
I should have a cover on it, but...
I think it's probably the least of our worries.
Despite having some concerns about how some of the previous owners had maintained it, we carried on.
Well...
At least there's no stones.
Unsurprisingly, fitting the wheels intended for an open-wheel race car on a run-of-the-mill Japanese roadster was never going to be easy. We knew we needed to do some cutting to make the wheels fit. We realised that we shouldn't have too many problems with the rears. Our biggest challenge was going to be getting the front wheels to actually steer.
Oh, Callum, hang on, you're bending the bumper. Got to do that again. Get there, Jose. Fitting huge wheels to the front means they need a lot more room to turn and move around. Bodywork can always be modified or removed, but if the wheels were so big that the chassis got in the way, we knew we'd have problems. Before we butchered the MR2 with an angle grinder, we removed the arch liners so we could test fit a wheel and gauge how much needed to come off.
That's how they do it at Toyota.
Are we on?
Yeah. Now we are. But look, a bit needs coming off. As you can see, we couldn't turn the wheel at all, and we knew we'd have even more problems once the car was moving. Despite it being a mid-engine sports car, the MR2 was always going to flop around a lot on tired old suspension. So we made some measurements and set our local Richard loose to do some essential plastic surgery, but not before some inspirational words of wisdom.
The thing is, you can always cut more off.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't put it back on quite so easy.
Wise words.
We were feeling bad for taking the MR2's retirement away early, but Scott had another way to put it.
It would have gone to someone who would have just used it normally.
Oh.
It would die eventually. This is a fitting possible end to this car's life. Yeah, it's an exciting retirement.
Rather than just going on a cruise ship, it's decided to take a load of
Another test fit showed that we needed to do more than just chopping up the bodywork. We'd freed up some space, but now the limiting factor was the chassis itself. We'd come this far, so we weren't about to let structural rigidity get in the way.
That looks quite structural.
Yeah.
So, for the final nail in the MR2's resale value, we set Scott loose with a hammer.
A huge 2.4 million of you are returning viewers of our content, so thank you very much. But only 5.2% of you are subscribed, so please help us out and hit that button. What do I need to do?
You need to try and knock that flat. You
From about there.
Give him the big hammer.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yes.
Hang on a minute. We knew that we were doing structural damage, but we knew this car wouldn't be going on the road and we definitely won't be selling it on. So I guess that makes it okay. I missed. Oh, hit the caliper then. You just look weak doing it. Not as sturdy as me. Go on then. You look like a little like bell. Once we'd stopped messing about with it, Richard took the hammer and finished the job. Should we try it on again?
Good as new.
It's probably a bit stronger now. You think? Well, the metal's more dense. So
Science.
We'd gone as far as we could go without turning the MR2 into a floppy mess, so we just had to concede that it wouldn't quite have full lock, which went well. Yep, Scott managed to jam the tyre into the arch, so much so we had to let down the tyre to get it out.
once we'd freed the wheel from the arch, we needed to make some further modifications. Fortunately, we brought our local Richard to the track with us, so we got to work operating on the MR2.
After removing some probably quite important double skin metal, the F1 tyres finally had a bit of breathing space. So now that we reduced the MR2's value to almost nothing, we could actually get some time on the track.
Much to Callum and Will's surprise, they made a huge difference to the lap time after they'd warmed up for an hour.
An hour?
Well, an hour and 10.
If you want to see more of this car on track, then you should check out this video here. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.